What's up, guys? Welcome to Run It Back. I'm your host, Blair Bomber, and this episode is a lot of fun. First of all, I have my good friend and comedian, Justin Connor, on here, and we review The Big Lebowski, which is a cult classic I'm sure most of you have seen. If you haven't, listen to this. There are some spoilers, but I think it'll get you excited to check it out for the first time, all right? Basically, him and I sit down, we do a quick little intro talking about the movie and what we knew of it before we watched it that night. Then we review it, and it's fun, man. It's fun. These are things that I'm going to try and do weekly with comics and movies, some classics, some not so classics, some older, some new, and it's going to be fun. Okay, so just give this a listen and love it. Don't hate it. Don't just love it. Oh, and a little disclaimer before we go any further. Justin and I partake in a little bit of an activity, you know, that kind of sounds like we smoke weed before we record this, okay? So we smoke a little bit, then we watch the movie, then we talk about it, and it's a blast, okay? So give it a listen and love it, because I know you're going to. All right, so this is me and Justin Connor talking about the cult classic, The Big Lebowski. All right, man. When was the last? I haven't seen this movie in years, but I feel like everybody has that friend that says this is the movie. This is like my favorite movie ever.
Yeah, it's been years since the last time I actually saw it, but yeah, some people really love this one. This one's got a lot of. I'm trying to think right now. Like, it's been so long. So he's just like a deadbeat or whatever who hangs out in a bowling alley who gets mistaken for a guy who owes some bad people a shitload of money.
You just read the box basically.
Okay, so so I remember it, but it's been a long time.
I remember it. I know what it's about. I don't think I've ever sat down and really focused on watching it all the way through, which I think is probably my fault. But everyone I talk to that says that it's their favorite movie, they're stoners to a degree. Like they're like, you gotta be smoking when you watch it, man. You gotta smoke when you watch
it's one of the cult followings or whatever. It's got I like smoking weed and watching movies. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like that's the best way to go about doing this movie, because it was like, if everyone says just don't watch it sober and you'll love it. But I feel like Pineapple Express, that's an example movie I saw sober, and it's one of my favorite movies ever, and I saw it stoned and made it a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if the first time I saw that one, if I was stoned or not. Because that came out, I think I was in 8th or 9th grade or something. So that was a very formidable, this is the kind of funny I like. Saw it at that time in my life. Pineapple Express, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was one of those things where it's like, there are even moments where you don't even... They're funny and you don't even know why. I had never even smoked weed at that point in my life, but I remember watching.
I don't think I had either.
Exactly, so. but it was still, we just knew it was funny. Like the opening Bill Hader scene when he's
yeah.
And we're not gonna get into, that's a different episode entirely. But this one, it's like what I think Pineapple Express was our generation's Big Lebowski.
Maybe. When did this movie come out?
This came out in the early 90s.
Early 90s. Yeah, it was already Yeah, this was the movie that your friend's older brother told you needed to watch, when I was
right.
And so we would, but
we
didn't find it on our own necessarily.
You always knew who loved it when whichever kids named their dog after the dude. This is the dude.
It has
dude? No, it's the dude. I don't get it.
It has a real people on the internet fucking love this movie.
It's one of those. I love cult classics. Honestly, I love but I think about if I made one, you would not want to make a cult classic. You would not want to make it, go through all the trouble, raising the money, doing it.
It's not ever a commercially successful movie, right? That's the point. It's people who loved it. It didn't do well, but the people who liked it love it.
Yeah. And they lose their mind for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's weird, because I feel like what was the last movie in the last I don't know 10 years that was like that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's.
Because Pineapple Express came out, and it was pretty much a hit when it came out. It didn't have
a big movie.
What was Boondock Saints, I guess, technically.
I don't know, man. Wasn't fucking Napoleon Dynamite a cult classic?
Yeah, but that did really well in theaters, though.
It did? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I told you I'm not a
Neither.
I'm not a movie buff.
Yeah, but you're a
really
culture guy.
Grasping at straws here. I'm a culture guy. I'm a cultured guy.
Well, we're gonna get right into it. Let's do it. We'll do it now. We'll go through it. And we'll come back in a little bit and talk about what we thought. All right. It's with Justin Connor. We're watching The Big Lebowski. We'll be back.
Cool.
Complicated case, Mom. A lot of ins, a lot of outs. Fortunately, I'm adhering to a pretty strict drug regimen to keep my mind, limber.
All right, man. What'd you think?
I mean, good movie. I like the movie. I'm trying to think, like, what are we supposed to take from it? Is it supposed to just kind of, like, meander like it did? Like, there wasn't really much conclusion. Even at the end, he said, like, I guess that really wraps it up, but did it? And it just seemed like...
Do you think this movie's one of those, like
the lovable character fucking dies, and then the bad guy gets away, and the deadbeat just kind of continues being a loser?
Dude, I'm so kind of just caught up in the whole thing right now because I didn't hate it.
No, it's entertaining to watch, but it wasn't like there was. I don't know.
It was. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was a little, a little kid, but I was good with it. But it was like I feel like they just kept bringing in characters to bring in a character, and then it didn't.
Well, it was all like really great dialogue and stuff. Like it's entertaining to watch every scene, but so much stuff like. I don't know, like, what are we supposed to take from how nothing ever, like, really... There's no conclusion to anything. Just, like, a next thing just keeps happening. And then all of a sudden, at the end, he's like, well, yeah, little Lebowski on the way. And
yeah,
I guess that wraps everything up. And, like, I don't...
They totally gloss over the fact that the dude nuts in somebody. Like, in the middle of this movie, she just rolls to his shitty apartment. They bang. He just doesn't pull out because I would be
great spit take though. Whenever she tells him she's trying to get pregnant.
Was that yoga?
It increases the chances of conception.
Increases.
But what are we supposed to take from? He's never really has like an original thought in the whole movie. He just repeats things that he's heard at other scenes in the movie. Like the whole President Bush quote, or like sees it on the news and then he throws that one out there. And there's a couple other times or when he comes back up to the bar and he says the old saying or whatever that the Marlboro Man had told him earlier, and then he sees him again. He just repeats things that he hears and has terrible luck.
I feel like that sometimes. I feel like that's all I want to do some days. It's just like
maybe that's why it's so relatable. Starts.
What'd you say?
So maybe that's why it's so relatable. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm just going around saying bullshit and getting screwed.
I was just thinking, like, well, just go back to the beginning of it. He's just, we started the movie by watching something we didn't understand what was going on. So what we did was we started the movie, and this is it's like a special edition. And so it opened with some older gentleman talking about how this has been remastered in this weird monologue. Okay, I swear to God, Justin, if you ever do that again, if you ever turn off the mic and make me think that I don't know what I'm doing on my own computer, because
these things are tricky.
I was a little bit lost. Yet that I almost have to like palm it.
Now I'm afraid. I'm just holding it so close because I don't want to fuck up again. That's the last thing I want to do.
Use the cheap ass. Shout out to the blue snowball mics, which are not good for being in your
blue
hand.
Balls, man.
All right, so okay. So what we were saying was we started the movie. It was a special edition apparently, and this dude is just talking to us, and we had just taken a couple hits, and so I was just like, "What?"
Tokes.
I thought for sure we were watching the wrong movie.
Yeah, I didn't know what we were watching. That was just a post thing that was made for the special edition.
Apparently, I mean, I learned but it was. Fuck that. Whatever.
I guess
so
it really threw us for a loop.
It did, and it took me about 20 minutes of the movie once it started for me to get back into it, which is not a good way. But they just kept introducing these characters, and they didn't serve it was just a single serving purpose.
Yeah, it's like that. Well, there was no conclusion with the tournament. Mm-hmm. That you never see that through. They never have like what's a climax or whatever moment with Jesus.
I'm only talking about the dude because he climaxed and he got a baby on the way. By the way, she was so assured of herself that, oh, you pop one in me, I'm good.
Yeah.
How do you just
one and done, baby?
One and done.
When I'm gonna have a baby.
That's batting 1,000 right there for the dude.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not how it works.
That would be terrifying if it was. I feel like women can get pregnant easy enough as it is until you're trying to get pregnant, and then it's like, we'd see the doctor 15 times this month because my sperm count is not very good. I don't know why. That was an androgynous voice. I started as a lady and finished with a southern gentleman.
It's interesting. Well, that's what they tell you when you go to the doctor too. Like, just go find some loser who hangs out in a bowling alley, and let him drop one in you, and then roll around on the bed. It increases the chance of conception.
Julianne Moore, low-key smoke show, though.
Yeah, she looked great. I did not remember the amount of boobs in this movie.
Lots of boobs in this movie.
A lot of tits in this movie.
What was the scene when they were throwing them up in the air? Was that in...
When they were at the porn producer's place.
Oh. By the way, I'm trying to, like, in my mind, to tie all of this together. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, it's pretty intricate.
Because they were all had some relation to something. Because Bonnie, Lebowski's wife, she used to be a porn star.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you never really get any conclusion over like who was right about what happened.
I think the point is it doesn't matter.
Is that?
I think that's the point.
Doesn't matter, man.
Doesn't matter.
It's just like your opinion, man.
It's just whatever, man.
Liam and me, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I mean, I guess, are we supposed to pick like his theory at the end was right? Like they never gave him the money in the first place and kind of framed him.
Yeah, and they just.
But even then, the girl came back after just going out and like partying or whatever, and he didn't know that she had left to go party, so he thought she actually was kidnapped. And the other guys were just trying to take advantage of her being gone and saying they kidnapped her.
Where was she in the first place?
They said she went to like Pasadena or some shit, or wherever she went to go just like party with friends.
And then she crashed the car and just walked right in. By the way,
yeah, and then just came back like fucked up.
By the way, you look kind of like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I look like
a little bit.
There are worse things you could look like.
I didn't even notice it was him until like.
Oh yeah.
I saw it this time. I've seen the movie before, like kind of before, but I never really noticed it was him. He's so good.
There were several people that I didn't realize like when I was younger and saw it. That were like Don Herrera when he was the limo driver. And like, what was that? They sent him. I forget who sent him back in a limo after he was.
Wasn't that the porn guy?
But he ended up at like the police station after that one because they fucking drugged him.
The porn guy drugged him, and then.
Was that all still part of the, like, dream sequence when he was in the police station?
No, I think that really happened. I think the dream sequence ended when he woke up in the police station.
So he was just on drugs, running down the street,
and they threw him out. That's one of my biggest fears / most exciting moments for me would be if someone dosed me. You've been dosed before?
I mean, I've dosed myself. I've never been like surprised on drugs. That sounds terrifying, dude. The guy, the scientist that like first made LSD or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't realize like that it was gonna make him fucking trip, so he just got it on his skin and he started tripping.
Man, just melting your face off.
You would think you were losing your mind if you didn't know it was about to happen, and then it started happening.
What would you do if? I mean, I guess he would just know because he was working on this drug. But imagine being like a guy.
But it wasn't a drug yet.
Right, but he was still working on drugs. So like the fact that there was any kind of, I mean, you can kind of piece it together because clearly he did. But imagine if you were just like a janitor and something spilled and that thing got on your skin, and you went home and started tripping, and you had no idea what was going on.
I feel like I've had friends tell me stories of that, like yeah, somebody like put some acid in someone's drink or something. Like, dude, not cool, man. I don't think I would not be happy. I have to like plan when I'm gonna do drugs like way ahead of time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm not
to make it less stressful.
If I'm not mentally prepared to do something harder than a little.
Yeah.
Then
Time and a place, man. You can't just have someone drop shit in your drink.
What would be the worst place to get dosed on acid? Like, what would be the worst? You're like, for me, it'd be like family reunion.
I'd say like family reunion or funeral or something.
A funeral might make it a little bit better at a funeral though.
Maybe.
I'd rather
you
be
could
anything.
really spiral. It could get dark.
I'd rather be anything but sober at a funeral.
Yeah. Or that anything but having to face any sort of emotions.
Or talk to
anything.
anybody, or just the grocery store would be pretty brutal.
I'm trying to think if I've been in a grocery store while I was tripping before.
I feel like you're the kind of guy who would like take acid and then like go to like a thrift store.
Just go run some errands.
Just take acid, run some errands. You bring your mail to the thrift store.
I don't know, if I'm tripping, I like to just like go walk around. I try not to go indoors.
See, I don't like being around people. When I'm tripping, I stay inside.
See, I can have fun hanging out inside, but I enjoy getting out there, getting out into the world. People watching's cool as long as you don't have to interact.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is I don't want to talk to people or look.
I can go to a park and like sit on a bench. I just watch people, but
Talk
I
to
don't
a
want to
dog,
go
maybe.
somewhere where I'm like in a crowd of people.
Yeah, they ask you to leave because you're talking to yourself too loud.
Yeah, so like I don't know, just like being in a crowd at like a show or something. It can be a bit much.
But unless you're all tripping, then it'd be dope.
Yeah, there is that weird vibe of like if you're at a music festival or something, it's like it's okay here. You'll be safe.
Everyone's on drugs.
I guess people enjoy that too much, and then that's how you end up in a viral video or something. But
yeah, where you're chewing through your own cheek and fucking head bobbing. It'd be, dude. I had a buddy of mine. I remember I was in college and they showed that dream sequence. That was when I was in film school. The one where he gets drugged by the porn guy and he's going through. What kind of condition when he's dancing and stuff?
Yeah, that was the one where he's in like the it's like a porno or whatever.
I had a guy who in my film school said, yeah, that's what tripping's like. This is before I ever done any drugs, really. He said that's what tripping's like. That's what hard acid tripping's like. And I've done shrooms since, and I was like, I can't confirm nor deny that that's what it was like, but I don't think it was nearly as fun.
It's definitely a hard experience to try to portray in movies. Very rarely, I feel like, does a movie get it, like, really nail what it feels like to be on like a type of drug or something. Because there's all kinds of movies where like they smoke a joint or something, and then like a unicorn like flies across the screen or something like.
That's when they
not
smoke
really how
PCP.
drugs work. Because the only drugs he does in the movie, he's like smoking weed the whole time, but then he just gets drugged by that guy.
Yeah, and they drug him, and then you can see him just tripping out, like.
Yeah, see, that was pretty well portrayed when he's like
He's
getting
coming
all
down.
fucked up, and he's like doesn't realize he's been drugged, I guess.
Have you ever done like a really good Molly?
I mean, I don't know. I've only done it like once, so it was fine.
It was
the
pretty
time
cool.
I did it.
No, it was just fine. See, it wasn't very good then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It was interesting. I didn't feel like the dude when he got drugged or anything like that.
Well, because that when he was coming out of it and he's like shaking and like, come on, man, like that's kind of like what the beginning of Molly feels like to me. Is you're just feeling all of it and you can't really like get it together, but he's coming down off of this. That's when you're going up on it. So I guess it's two different things. Clearly.
So I was like surprisingly social whenever I was on it. I was like, right now I just feel like I want to call everyone I've ever met and tell them how much I love them.
That's all you want to do.
I can't wait to see them again.
You want to give them a kiss. You want to see their asshole. You want to do everything.
Just want to be with people I love, which is not a bad feeling.
Oh yeah, it's a mixture for me. It's a mixture of that and just wanting to talk to strangers.
Yeah, just like so outward and like social.
Tell me about your life. What are you scared of?
We were on some shrooms a while back, me and some buddies, and I was at is it Jackson Park, the fountain, like down by Lakeshore? Is that Jackson Park?
Sure.
I think it's and there's this huge fountain, and this tiny little like Asian lady asked me to take her picture in front of the fountain. She was like, clearly like not American. She was like on vacation here, and I took it, and for some reason, probably not some reason, it was because I was on drugs probably, but I was like, the moment when I took her picture, and I was just thinking like, man, this person came from like a totally different part of the world, and like in a different time, like she was so old, and it's like all these things, like, but our paths crossed like right here, and I'm taking this picture of her, and she like stood there and she was smiling and like so proud, and I took her picture in front of the fountain, and I just like started to like shed a few tears. I was standing there and I just like literally just started, just like a couple emotional tears came down, and I just gave her camera back, and she was like, okay, and got the fuck out of there. I think I scared her, but it was a special moment for me. Powerful stuff.
You cried over a generation gap.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Oh my
like,
God, you're just so
just like the power of the moment.
Dad.
I'm just like, oh my God, this is so fucking wild. And then I cried, and then gave her disposable camera back or whatever.
You see, that's probably what the dude was like. But at the end of his, after doing that your entire life,
he was just constantly, yeah. He really, he sees the big picture for sure. The dude, he abides and he sees the big picture.
What was funny to me is they kept pointing out that those guys were nihilists. They kept saying nihilist, but if you think about it, the dude is essentially a nihilist because he doesn't really care about anything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he's like, let's just go bowl.
He's the only.
None of it matters. So he really is a metaphor for nihilism.
He really lets everything just kind of wash over him.
By the way, if you ever talk about nihilism in conversation naturally, you're a piece of shit. Anybody who talks about fucking like existentialism or what it means to be alive can go fuck themselves in conversation. I don't want to hear that. Get them away from me.
I took like intro to philosophy, but I'm in over my head pretty much immediately.
I feel like they're just.
So I feel like there's probably a lot of themes in this movie that just went right over my head because I'm a dummy.
I feel like, well, us. I don't. You think smoking before this? You think token smoking, joking before this was made it better or worse? Because everyone told me, like you said earlier, it's better if you're high, and I don't know.
I don't know. It definitely. Have you ever had this maybe where if you get stoned and watch a movie and it really takes you out of it, you're like, I can so clearly tell they're like acting, and this is not like just actors in front of a camera. I didn't have that with this one. No,
neither did I. I will say this. I was way more locked in, maybe because we had like a goal to do this, maybe because it was for a podcast, but I remember being like, looked at my phone like twice to check the time.
Well, it's a bunch of like, I mean, obviously it's a bunch of like really great actors. So it's, yeah, like it's super entertaining to watch. It's just the whole story, like just kind of just keeps meandering on.
Did you ever watch No Country for Old Men?
I've seen it probably like the same way I'd seen this one, like I'd started it before and just like
I think
fell asleep or something.
The thing with these Coen movies is you watch them, you're like, I probably need to see it again. And
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of layers. Well, they made Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie, I've seen that one like a number of times, and that one's, after you see it so many times, like there's a lot of symbolism in all these like movies, I guess.
There's all
I'm not smart enough to get the
subtext,
Big Lebowski.
and I need somebody to write it down to show it to me. How many people that you love would have to die for you to just adopt the dude lifestyle of just being like,
just
man,
like, there's no one else here.
I don't
care.
Let's just go bowling.
I guess everyone in my entire family, I guess. I'll be like, fuck it, I won't worry about my life anymore. I mean,
well,
my family's all
if you
dead.
want, I'll start with your Aunt May. We'll go over there. We'll get her, see how you feel.
Well, you see, that's the thing. You got to be more of a Band-Aid situation. It would have to.
Oh, everyone all at once?
It would feel too bad if
it's
slowly.
Like a gas chamber situation?
You don't want to peel that Band-Aid off.
No, you don't want to go like one every other month. You want to go put them all in a gas chamber, let them go. Don't show me the video.
Well, a gas chamber, that's a little specific, but.
Well, are you a Jew?
No.
And what's the problem?
No, Irish Catholic. I mean, yeah, sure. When you put it that way, no problem.
I'm not Jewish, so if you want to murder my whole family by gas chamber, please.
I don't have like a specific history with that, so go ahead.
Well, that was a funny part of this fucking movie. Is he kept saying it's what is it, Shamas? Because he wouldn't do anything on Saturday.
Yeah.
For the Shabbos.
Saturday, Donnie, is Shabbos, the Jewish day of rest. That means I don't work. I don't drive a car. I don't fucking ride in a car. I don't handle money. I don't turn on the oven. And I sure as shit don't fucking roll!
But it wasn't even. Isn't it on Sunday? You're not supposed to do anything.
I think in Judaism it's Saturday.
But he's sitting there, and I love how he was like.
But he said he was like Polish Catholic or something.
And then he got married.
It was his.
Like, he got divorced 5 years ago. Yeah. Oh, so you get a new credit card? You get a new ID? Turn all your stuff in? I was like,
Yeah, like there's so many loose ends in this movie. Like you really just get dropped into like pretty much the middle of a story, and then you leave still in the middle of a story, which I guess is like life. I guess if you're actually, it makes the characters maybe more real because it just continues right on after you're done. But like the dog, you never see his ex-wife or anything, but he's got the dog like most of the movie.
Right.
And what's the span of the movie? Like a week? Takes place like a week?
Yeah,
or
I mean, a couple of days.
Couple days.
Which was the other thing that was sneaky is that I didn't realize it, but like there really wasn't too many time jumps, other than when he was drugged.
So like started through, they would have been during the week or whatever, and then he called him up on the Sabbath or whatever, and he came and got him. So that would have been Saturday.
Mm.
And then Jesus came over and was pissed and told him he was gonna fuck him in the ass on Wednesday.
There were some just great, like, just mean-spirited lines, like the one where he's talking to the police chief. He's like, "I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like anything about you, jerk off." It was great.
I always loved when they're fucking with him and the first two like thugs that show up and where's the money, Lebowski? Like, it's down there somewhere. Let me take another look. And that's so awesome because he doesn't even know why they're there yet. Like they have the wrong guy. And he's still like a smart ass to two complete strangers that are fucking with him.
That's the kind of thing.
It's good shit.
That's the kind of thing you think you would be if you were ever in that situation. Like,
yeah, like,
presence of mind.
As much of a loser as he is, that was like the coolest thing he could have done at that time.
That's what I think. I think I'm like every time in my life, like I think I'm Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, where he's getting. You've seen that movie? At the torture scene.
I don't think I saw Casino Royale.
You saw
I haven't
Casino
seen
Royale?
a Bond film in a while. I told you I'm not a good movie. I'm terrible at seeing movies.
That's
in
the
theaters.
problem with Connor. So this guy does not see movies, and this is a movie podcast. But that's why it's important to have a guy like you on here.
I tried to be upfront. I'm a fresh perspective on most movies that we might watch.
That's kind of nice though, because if I have a guy who's like, "Dude, I've seen Big Lebowski 78 times, and this is what the symbolism of Act 2 is," I'm like, "Dude, get fucked in your face."
I would never want to be that guy either. But I've so many like movies that are like required viewing I have not seen.
Well, we'll put a pin in that, and then when we watch it, whenever you're back next time, we'll watch Casino Royale.
All right.
But basically, what happens is the torture scene, and he's getting tortured in this very they pretty much take him and put him in a chair, and they cut the bottom of the chair out and they strip him naked, and they take this. It looks like it looks like one of those ropes that those battle ropes that people use in the gyms, like the big long.
Yeah.
It's like that with a knot on the end of it, and he just kind of like swings it underneath and hits him in the sack.
I think I have seen I've at least seen that scene where he's.
And then he's
really
like,
him.
"I got a little itch down there. Could you?" After already getting hit with like 6-7 times, that's what we think we are in our heads.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm that guy all the time, or I'm Big Lebowski, or I'm the dude getting my face on. Like, I gotta look for some more. But in reality, I'm like, stop.
Yeah. In reality, any type of conflict or confrontation, I just cave so quickly.
It's like you can have whatever you want. Just
take
leave
it,
me.
take whatever. Piss on the rug. I don't care.
There's so many good scenes in this movie, just from when he like when he pulls his sunglasses out of the shitter after he gets his face shoved in there.
Yeah.
When he nails
he trips on the board.
That's the most.
Or when they open it,
stoner thing ever. When he
pulls out. Yeah, that was good.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gonna have to watch this again at some point.
It's a long one, man.
I did enjoy it though.
It's a good hungover on a Sunday around noon. Turn that one on.
We turned it on at 8 p.m. on a Sunday. We're bad boys.
We're a couple hours behind schedule, but we made it through.
You know why though? It's because we're bad boys.
We had to, being bad boys, puts you behind schedule sometimes.
You gotta make concessions, to the bad boy lifestyle. And people don't understand how hard it is to be like us, to sacrifice what we could be doing on a Sunday, which is, I don't know, maybe doing comedy for 4 people. We're sitting in a room with just the 2 of us with microphones after watching a movie for 2.5 hours.
There's like half as many people here,
If you want to do a set right now, you just go right ahead. I'll go take a nap.
You wouldn't be the first night I've done a set for one person.
God, I did it on my own show last week. It was terrible. No, there was like 7 people there. It was really good. So it was 7 times as many people.
That's like 700% better.
All right. So did you like it? Would you watch it again? And how would you describe it to a friend if they're like, "Hey, should I see this movie?"
No, I liked it. I would watch it again. If someone asked me to describe it to them, I would be like, well, like I said, the story is just kind of like, just obviously like it's weird because so much is happening, like crazy shit is happening almost throughout the entire movie, like in this character's life, but then at the end it's still like, well, nothing really happened.
Yeah, nothing. The only thing that changes is spoiler alert, Donnie dies.
Yeah, R.I.P. dude.
And
That's it. Like they added the lovable character that's always getting shit on. He dies, and then nothing else really like has a permanent effect. I guess he knocked up Maud.
What a horrible
Maud
name.
Lebowski.
Maud.
Maud.
I think that's what Apatow named one of his kids. Maud. Yeah, you really. I would be like, well, it's like a. You'll sit through the whole thing because it's like really great acting. And the writing's weird. I guess because I nerd out to the writing part of it when things are how things are written.
Like the dialogue's great and it's so well acted.
And there's no improvising. Like all the dudes, mans, all those are all written in there, which to me is insane. It'd be hard to be an actor to do that. But then
so many like famous lines in that movie.
I guess that I read about. So I love like little movie trivia. There was this thing I read, and the Coen brothers said that they watched. This came out a couple of years after Reservoir Dogs did. You see that one? Tarantino
Love
movie?
Reservoir Dogs.
Great
That's
movie.
another movie that I almost brought that one up earlier because that's another one where the first time I saw it I was really stoned, and it did not take me out of it at all. Mm-hmm. And nothing crazy. Like it's all like dialogue driven, like story or whatever. Like they're sitting in a fucking diner talking or whatever. Yeah, that's another way you can be really stoned in it. That I feel like that's a testament to how good the acting is in a movie.
I think
sometimes weed will just take you so out of that's clearly they're just acting on a set or whatever.
Yeah, like they're it looks like someone like they're almost like they're reading cue cards, like if you're watching SNL and it's like a bad sketch.
Yeah.
But I guess so that came out before this one did, and the Coen brothers, they said that the reason they kept writing John Goodman's character to tell Donnie shut the fuck up was because he just talked the entire movie in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh,
he wouldn't shut the fuck up in that movie. He was always talking in every scene he was in. So that was kind of when they were writing this, they wrote that part for him.
That's funny.
And made them tell him to shut the fuck up the entire time.
What's a pederast, Walter?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Oh, yeah. I am the walrus.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. V.I. Lenin. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov.
What the fuck is he talking about? Those are good burgers, Walter.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
We'll be near the In-N-Out burger.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Who's in pajamas, Walter?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
They posted the next round for the tournament.
Donnie, shut the fuck up. When do we play?
That's really funny. Yeah, he's so like inconsequential or whatever in this movie. He just has a couple like, I'm slamming him tonight. He's like always just killing it, bowling. Then he has a fucking heart attack and dies, man.
What's the boy? He got hit with something. There's no shots fired.
There's no shots fired.
There are.
Yeah, that's great. It's like, that's not fair. It's like, who's the fucking nihilist now or whatever.
And then they, I love the ash scene when they try and scatter his ashes.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if your best friend just had his ashes fall in your face?
Yeah, that like he said, everything's a fucking travesty with you. That really is. That would be like a horrible moment, but it was like pretty light in the movie.
It was kind of like it was. I don't know, man. This movie, I feel like I liked it more than I ever had before. That being said, I hadn't finished it all the way through. I think I've watched it 3 or 4 different times, but either started from a different part or ended at a different part.
Yeah, it was always one of those ones where like someone would turn it on super late, like when we were hanging out in like high school or something, and you'd be asleep before, like never made it to the end.
Hell yeah. Good shit, man.
Powered through tonight.
We did power through. Next time we'll get you on here, watch something scary to keep you
something scary.
I'm
bad. I'm telling you, man. You could list almost any movie. I'd be like, nah.
Well, I don't. Yet. Oh, I need to have a scary movie episode at some point because I refuse to watch them.
Yeah, I don't. That's probably the one I see the least is like horror films.
Yeah, I'll have to but I think that I'll have to set the mics up and run it the entire movie through because I'm so scared of movies.
Do some commentary.
I'm so scared of movies, dude.
That would have been. This is like the whole dialogue thing. You really have to be watching this one, like. But a horror movie, you could just have the mics going and just like make fun of it. That's half the fun of watching those with a friend, is just like shitting on it the whole time. because they're always such a mess.
The thing that we do is we get such a big following from just this one episode of this podcast that hasn't been made yet. That
People are gonna call us. The internet is gonna call us dumb. That's what I mean, that's my fear with anything in life.
I think if the internet has any time for us,
it means this. Right. This symbol means this, and he says this because this. You guys are dumb.
I think it'd be funny to be. I always thought it'd be funny if like people loved hearing you talk so much. They would like, okay, you guys are gonna watch the movie now, and then commentate. Okay, we're starting it right now, and then you're in somebody's ear while the movie's going on.
You could have a whole what is it, Pink Floyd and the Wizard of Oz sort of thing going on with your podcast.
It'll never happen.
If you started at the perfect time, it lines up, man.
It lines up, man.
It's just like your opinion, man.
All right, man. This was cool. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I enjoy watching The Big Lebowski with you.
Big Lebowski and smoking drugs.
Yeah, that's fun too.
My mom's gonna be. Bonnie's the only like real listener I have. And that's how she found out that I did coke for the first time. When I was just talking about it on my podcast.
Talking about it on the pod.
Mom, you'll be all right. All right. We're out of here.
Bye, Mom.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you. Jerk-off.